This is Comedy on 11, the show where I talk about comedy and music. I'm Thom Tran, comedian, musician, and gear addict. And this week, that addiction is going to birth a new segment called Spilling the Tea, where I'm going to talk about some of my must-have gear that I take to every gig. And this week, we're going to be talking about the new DJI Mic 3 versus the previous generation Mic 2. And now, if you've watched previous episodes of the show, you'll notice that I'm not wearing one of my typical goofy t-shirts or branded t-shirts. I'm wearing a shirt that I wear to work. This is actually, I have 13 of these, and 9 of them are black. And there's a very specific reason for that, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit when we talk about new DJI mic systems, also a new camera angle that I'm working on. This is going to be fun. So before we get to all that, let's start with the comedy talk. I kind of feel like this applies to anyone in entertainment and arts, but I'm a stand-up comic, and this show is about comedy and music, so that's kind of what we're talking about. So the other day, a really good comedian friend of mine asked me if I was feeling artistically fulfilled, because there's been a lot going on recently in my life, both professionally and personally, and we were talking about the industry and my job and my career. And it's my busy season. I'm going to be doing a lot of work, traveling a lot. And he said, "Are you feeling artistically fulfilled?" And my immediate answer was no. And I don't really know why. I just know that when he asked me if I felt fulfilled as an artist, whether that meant as a comedian or a musician or a writer or whatever, was I feeling fulfilled? And the answer was no. And maybe it's because I haven't spent a lot of time lately doing the artistic portion of this job. It seems like I'm spending more time doing things that are not the thing that I love. And the thing that I love is writing jokes, writing music, creating things that move me specifically to laugh. You know, I write jokes all the time. I write them down in my little notebook. That's one of the things that I tell, every new young comedian. Write down everything. The moment you think about it, write it down. I think I've talked about it on this show before, but I'm writing all the time. But the last time I can remember writing a joke or bit that made me laugh so much was probably like 3 weeks ago. Like I was working on a new tune for the comedy album, and I started writing the bridge portion for this song, and I was standing here in the studio, and I could not get through the verse that I wrote because I thought it was really funny, and the song's been a hit live when I do it in front of audiences. And that's the last time I can remember just being overtaken with that joy of comedy. And that's what I want to bring to people. That's what I want to give to other people with my job and my career in writing jokes. And it's just been so long. And by so long, I mean like 2 or 3 weeks, but my God, like if I go more than a week without doing stand-up comedy, I get genuinely depressed. And as a musician, I know that if I go more than a couple of weeks without picking up a guitar and at least playing, and that happens, that genuinely happens. Like I'll go on the road before I had, a travel guitar or a guitar I felt comfortable taking with me all the time. I would go on the road and do stand-up and literally not touch a guitar for 2 weeks. And it gets so emotionally frustrating that I'm doing a thing, but I can't do the thing that I love, which is either comedy or music. And sometimes it's both, yes, boo-hoo, I'm on the road doing stand-up comedy, making a living, and I don't get to play my guitar. Um, but I know emotionally, like that's so important for me. So when Josh, my comedian friend, asked me if I was feeling artistically fulfilled, I said no. Because I've been working a lot. I've been doing a lot of spots. Like last week I did, 4 spots in 2 days. Um, I, I could go out and get up every night if I wanted to. But the thing is, I'm so exhausted half the time because I get up and I'm doing all the things around comedy that aren't comedy. Like, for instance, this right now, which I enjoy doing. I was hesitant to say that I love doing this, only because it's 30 minutes of setup, uh, 2 or 3 hours of writing the script, getting elements together, an hour to shoot this, another hour to do some just minor editing and then uploading. And that's half my day. That's half the day where I would rather be writing or coming up with new jokes or just doing something that makes me laugh. And I do enjoy this. I do like talking to you. I was going to say, guys, talking to everyone, my fans, anybody who's listening about comedy and music, because I love comedy and I love music. But it's the stuff around this. Like, if you could see, you know what? I'm gonna pull my other phone out and I'm going to video for anybody watching this on YouTube. I'm gonna video my setup here in the studio. It's literally all of this, all monitors, lights, teleprompter, another camera angle. It's all of this stuff that goes around the thing that I want to do, which is comedy. And I get that I have to do this. Like, when I moved out to LA in 2008, it was because at the time, if you wanted to do comedy, you had to be on TV, you had to get on a show, you had to have some kind of credits. And then when you could walk into a door and say, as seen on blah, 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 that was an easier way of getting spots and doing time. But now it's everything. It is social media. It's podcasts. It's doing other people's podcasts. It is just still trying to get on TV and make a living doing that stuff. And it's exhausting doing this thing that you don't want to do to try to do the thing that you do. And I get that some people love this and that's their whole thing. I just want to tell jokes, but you cannot in this day and age of this industry just tell jokes or just be a musician. Like, and Josh says it all the time, like, you have to be a content creator, which is what this is. But it's also like, I was thinking about it today before, while I was getting set up, I was like, this is kind of therapeutic. This is also, me getting to talk to my friends and my fans about what's on my mind when it comes to comedy. And I love talking about gear. I love talking about music stuff, which is why I'm excited about like the music part of today's episode. And I'm hoping that it's going to be more of a portion of this show. That's the plan. That's the plan. But when it comes to like artistic fulfillment, I don't have it right now. And I get that other comics just do it nonstop. They write all the time and they're funny all the time. I get it. They're better than me. They're funnier than me. They're better writers than me, or whatever it is. Are they artistically fulfilled? I don't know. I just know that when I go any major amount of time without doing the thing that I actually love doing, which is writing jokes to make people laugh. More importantly, to make me laugh. This gets exhausting. All of this gets exhausting. And I was genuinely like over the weekend, I was thinking about, do I even want to do this? And I keep saying I have to do it. I have to do it because I do enjoy it. I do like it. But who am I talking to? You know, I have a half dozen fans that I think listen to this on the daily, or, you know, on the weekly whenever I release this. I mean, I look at my numbers and they're not good. I'm doing this new thing with my buddy Peter Murphy that we're going to be releasing in October. And that has been artistically fulfilling, but it's also been super fun. It's been amazingly fun working with my friend Peter on this project, that we get together and we laugh. And I think that's the thing. Like, just like that the bridge to that song that I wrote, I laughed so much when I wrote that. The same way when I get together with Peter and we do this new project, we're just laughing all the time. Mainly I'm laughing because Peter's hysterical. And maybe that'll bring me more artistic fulfillment. But even with that, I'm like, we got, I don't know, 7 episodes in the can, which I have to edit. That's a minimum of 7 hours of editing, an hour an episode ish. It's closer to like 45 minutes, but that's a day's worth of editing. I'm sure I could do it, you know, one at a time, but it's a lot, man. And by the time like it gets to lunch, what time is it? It's 1 o'clock right now. And I have not eaten yet because I know that I'm going to be so tired after I do that, or, you know, I'm on a schedule and I got to get this done, and I got to get the podcast out because I told myself really that I'm going to keep doing this because this is something I do enjoy. Again, hesitant to say that I love doing this because if I didn't have to, I would not, to be quite honest. And it's just, I would rather be on my couch writing. But at the same time, like, I get stuck in these writer's blocks, these chunks of writer's block where I'm sitting there with my guitar and I have an idea and I have a premise and I have a thing that I want to write, and it's just not coming to me. You know, the lyrics aren't coming to me. The music's not coming to me. The chords aren't coming to me. And then I get bummed out about that. But I do like this. I do like talking about gear. So that has been fun. It's just all the other stuff that goes around it. The setting up the studio, the editing after, the making sure the hard drive's plugged in so this is actually recording. Yeah, and I get that I could just hire people to do that. I could rent out a studio. I could go to a studio. I could pay to make that happen. But like, hey, I don't want to pay for a thing that I can genuinely do myself. Like, I went to college for this. I have the equipment. I have a studio. I can do this by myself. But then the question is, what am I really paying for? Is it the time? Is it the time that I'm not paying for somebody else to do this? Like, what is that worth to me? And then I get into the thing in my head. Then I start getting into my head. And I'm like, but what about when I pay someone to do a thing and they don't do it right? And then I'm just extra frustrated because I've lost money to pay a person to do a thing that they didn't do correctly. So I don't know, man. I guess the question is, am I artistically fulfilled? I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know if I'm artistically fulfilled right now. At least not the last couple of weeks. And the thing is, I'm so busy booking travel, getting ready for events coming up for Veterans Day because that's my busy season. You know, there are things that I do that aren't comedy that pay the bills, like public speaking, keynote speaking, things like that. And although I get to write, those aren't comedy. Those aren't stand-up comedy. Yes, I'm getting up there and I'm talking, and there's some comedy and stuff interjected, but it's not I'm not making people laugh the entire time. So the question of artistic fulfillment, I don't know. I don't think I am right now. I do feel that way when I, write a great joke or write a new song. Like that's why this comedy album's been like top of mind, because I've been putting out some bangers of comedy songs. And then there are a bunch that I've written that I'm just like, okay, that's a B-side. They're not all bangers. So yeah, I think it comes down to, am I happy doing stand-up comedy? Yeah, when I'm doing it and it goes well. But then that's, that's like any given night, you can get up and kill or you can get up and bomb. And then that's just, you go sit in your car with some Taco Bell and you're like, what am I doing? I don't know. How do other artists feel artistic fulfillment? Like as a musician, but as a comedy musician, it's the same thing. I just write a song that makes people laugh. Is it when you write a tune and everyone in the club or the arena, for, in the case of like Def Leppard or AC/DC or whatever, I'm quoting 80s bands, like when you play that song and the arena starts cheering along, is that artistic fulfillment? I don't know. How do artists do it? Like actual drawing artists. How do they get artistic fulfillment? Do they just do the thing and make it? And they go, I've done it. I've made the thing. And then they're fulfilled by that. Or is it not until they go to a gallery and people are admiring it and talking about it or whatever that acknowledgement of your craft is? Like, how do people who aren't comedians feel artistic fulfillment? If you're a musician or an artist or a pottery maker or a whatever, or a writer, like, let me know. How do you feel artistic fulfillment in your craft? What do you do that makes you feel happy about what you're doing? I would genuinely like to know. I would genuinely like to know how you do that. Like, what is it that keeps you going? Yeah. Because for me, it is really about laughter. Making myself laugh. Making other people laugh. And I think that's why it maybe hurts so much or is such a bummer when people don't laugh. Because you're like, oh, the thing that I created and made that's supposed to make you laugh didn't. But that's a whole nother, that's a thing, that's a segment for a whole nother episode. So I know the things that I have to do, which includes this podcast, are part of this job. It's part of this career. I just wish that it made me as happy as telling jokes makes me happy. So those are my random thoughts about comedy this week. Like I said, it may really just apply to like anyone in the arts, but it's just me this week. So that's the comedy portion of the show. Let's move on to a new segment that I like to call Spilling the Tea, which is spelled TEEE, which stands for Tom's Essential Entertainment Equipment. And I know that is a Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Division level of reaching. SHIELD, for those of you who couldn't figure that one out. But when I figure out a better name for the segment, I will change it. Now, I am guilty of having a serious case of gas, or gear acquisition syndrome, as some people call it. It used to just be guitars and related like musical equipment, but It's so much worse now. I don't know if you saw from the shot earlier about all the gear that I have in my studio, but I'm at the point where I'm just like constantly upgrading my must-have gear in an effort to minimize my travel footprints when I do go on the road, but at the same time maximize the quality of my gear. And it has been a really, really bad month. The new mics, new tripods, stuff hitting the market like literally every day. And then the YouTube algorithm does not help, because as soon as I watch a video about one kind of mic and I decide to buy it, and then I get a YouTube video recommendation about a new kind of mic, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And the next thing you know, I have 5 different wireless mics in my house. So I wanted to share with everyone some of my must-have gear when performing live, whether it's stand-up comedy or music, but usually stand-up comedy because I'm a stand-up comic. And this week, we are going to be talking about the DJI Mic 2 and 3, which I have purchased both of them. Now, I'm wearing a different shirt than I usually do, as I mentioned earlier, because this is the shirt I wear on stage, and we're going to talk about specifically how I use these microphones for work, specifically as a stand-up comedian. And I like this shirt so much that I bought like a dozen of them, and 9 of them are black. So this is my work shirt. Obviously, you can use these mics for recording music stuff, which is I'm going to show you a little bit later. Like, you can use it for stand-up. You can use it to record YouTube videos, live lectures, whatever. But I'm going to show you how I use it. Now, there are dozens of YouTube videos going into like the super specifics of these 2 microphone systems. And those videos are very helpful. They help me decide whether or not I was going to purchase these. But I'm going to break down the differences in price, specs, and usability and sound quality, which to me are the most important things that I always consider before I'm going to drop 2 or 3 or 4 bills on a device. And then I'm going to let you decide which one of these you want to buy based on that information. So let's start with the big one. We're talking about price. As you can see, the Mic 2 is much bigger. The Mic 3 is much smaller. As of today, September 8th, which is Star Trek Day, by the way, everybody, live long and prosper, to my fellow Star Trek nerds. As of today, the DJI Mic 2, which, as you can see on the screen, I purchased in January of 2025, so 9 months ago, just under 9 months ago, is currently today selling for $269 with everything shown in that kit. And I'm going to actually show you in just a minute. There's the DJI Mic 2. I'm going to show you what came in that kit. And then the DJI Mic 3, which I purchased literally a week ago, as you can see from the screen, is going for $329. So again, the DJI Mic 2, $269 as of today, September 8th. The DJI Mic 3 selling for $329. So that is a difference of $60. And this one is the DJI Mic 3 here. And we're going to open that up in just a minute and show you all the stuff that you get in there as well. But yeah, the price difference right now is like $60, and maybe that'll be important to you. But let's go in and take a look at the what you get in these cases. And this is a new video setup that I have. Of course, I'm still using the Rodecaster video switching system for all this, and I figured I should take advantage of all the inputs that I have to do this. So let's start with the DJI Mic 2, which I bought back in January. Again, this one is currently selling for $269 on Amazon, which is where I got it. If you open it up, well, let's talk about the difference right now. The cases are clearly smaller. The DJI Mic 3 case, as you can see, this is the DJI Mic 3 case, just a little smaller. Width-wise, they're about the same. But the crazy thing about the Mic 3 is they managed to shove everything that you put in the case of the Mic 2 into this charging case of the Mic 3. So these are both charging cases. You can put the devices in here and it'll charge them. So let's open up the Mic 2. We'll open up the Mic 3. So as you can see, when you open them up, they turn on. The Mic 2 and the Mic 3. Visually very similar. The Mic 3 is the Mic 3 receiver, just a little smaller. Let's go over some of the specs that we have here from DJI. So the transmitter size and weight, clearly smaller in the DJI Mic 3. This transmitter right here, if I take it out of the case, weighs in at 16 grams, while the transmitter of the Mic 2 weighs in at 28 grams. Let me switch over. That's the size difference of the two mics. The DJI Mic 3 is literally half the size of the DJI Mic 2. The internal recording for both of these, for the Mic 3, you're looking at dual file 32-bit floating with 32 gigs of storage. For the DJI Mic 2, here on the left, you've got single 32-bit float with 8 gigabytes of storage. What does that equate to in actual, time, hours? I haven't recorded anything on the DJI Mic 3 yet, and I believe it's 50 some odd hours, 57, 58 hours of available recording time. For the DJI Mic 2, I believe it's like 14 hours worth of available recording time. So depending on whether you're doing 32-bit float or, single audio files. And what 32-bit float means is you can record a file that's going to be a little lower. The decibels are going to be a little lower so that, in case you're talking too loud, I backed up from the microphone there to do that. If you're talking too loud, you can actually get a separate file with a lower dB so that you don't blow out the audio file. You have a transmission range on the DJI Mic 3 of up to 400 meters, dual band 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. With the Mic 2, you're only getting 250 meters at 2.4 gigahertz. Now, of course, one of the things I hate when I'm looking at stats like this, when you're looking at things like up to 400 meters or up to 250 meters, like what does that mean in people terms? Like it sounds like a lot, which it is, but what does that mean when you're thinking about a shot, how far out you can be? So the DJI Mic 2 right here has up to 250 meters of line of sight transmission. DJI Mic 3 has up to 400 meters of line of sight transmission. Now, other videos from people who know what they're doing, they'll actually go out and they'll set up a camera and they'll walk 250 to 400 meters and they'll show you, hey, this is a really far distance that you can transmit on. This is what I'll tell you. 250 meters, which is what the Mic 2 transmits up to, that's 200 and some odd yards of transmission range, while the DJI Mic 3 has a range of up to 400 meters, which is 400 some odd yards. So that's 4 football fields worth of transmission range, while the DJI Mic 2 has 2 football fields and some change. That's a lot. That's a lot. So in your head, imagine you're standing at one end zone, you have a friend standing at another end zone, and then you have another friend standing twice that distance. That's a long way, line of sight. So if you are using the DJI Mic 2, that's how much range you have. If you're using the DJI Mic 3, that's how much range you have. Like 400 some odd meters with the DJI Mic 3. That's 4 football fields and some change. The DJI Mic 2, that's 2 football fields and some change. That's a lot. You're not gonna need that much range. So range-wise, they're both really good. Of course, the 3 has more. But then we're looking at connectivity. Here's the big one. Here's the big one that really, like, this grabbed my attention. So one of the reasons I thought about getting the Mic 3 was because when I was using the DJI Mic 2 as like a podcast mic, I was trying it for a little while as a podcast, like a wireless podcast mic system, so that it wasn't running cables from one side of the studio to the other side of the studio. I could only use 2 microphones for the DJI Mic 2. You could only, this microphone, this transmitter, and this transmitter. The DJI Mic 3 supports up to 4 transmitters and 8 receivers. So this mic right here, you can get 2 more additional transmitters, connect them up to this one receiver. Now you've got 4 microphones. And the crazy thing is you can connect up to 8 receivers. So 7 additional receivers. So 7 of these, and up to 4 transmitters on each. You're looking at, who needs that? Who needs that much? I mean, in a multi-camera shoot, I get if you've got like people over here and people over here, and you're like 4, maybe 6, maybe 8 people. Sure, I can understand miking up 8 people at a time. But that's insane. 7 receivers and 4 transmitters. That's, I should really be better at math, but I'm not. That's 30 some odd transmitters. Is it? I'm gonna look real stupid. Looks real stupid. Let's say times 4. That's 32. I was right. Terrible at math. You can record up to 32 over here. DJI Mic 3, 32 transmitters into like whatever the device is. If it's a mirrorless camera or your phone or whatever. Time code support. The DJI Mic 3 supports time code. That could be important if you're working on like a higher budget multi-camera production. It doesn't mean a lot to me, only because when I'm doing this, I am in this room alone. I am doing this by myself. Not a lot of camera time code syncing going on here. Super helpful. It's great. A lot of people wanted it. So DJI was like, all right, well, we'll add time code support. So if you want to do that and link, make sure your footage is linked up, time code support all the way. Noise cancellation. 2 levels of active adaptive gain with the DJI Mic 3. With the DJI Mic 2, you have intelligent noise cancellation. I have not played with the 2 levels of active gain control yet. I'm interested to try that out. We're going to do a little experiment in just a couple of minutes where I mic myself up with both. And then we'll see how it sounds. We'll actually do a sound comparison. I'm going to record onto the devices, onto the actual hard drives of these devices, because they both record internally. And then we're going to see how it sounds in post. Yes, it's going to be more work for me, but you know what? You're worth it, internet. You're worth it. The DJI Mic 3 has voice tones preset. I believe that's you have like more bassy sound, more trebly sound. I'll have to look into it. The DJI Mic 2 does not include those at all. Here's another big reason I decided to buy these. Total battery life. The DJI Mic 3 has up to 28 hours of battery life. The total battery life of the DJI Mic 2 is up to 18 hours. And that's battery life with the case, meaning you can charge it up, you can run it down, recharge it, and you'll get up to 28 hours with the DJI Mic 3 and up to 18 hours with the DJI Mic 2. And then wireless connectivity, you've got dual band 2.4 or 5 gigahertz connectivity with the DJI Mic 3, and then you've got 2.4 gigahertz wireless connectivity with the DJI Mic 2. Now, those are the basics. Those are the specs. Those came right off DJI's website. But let's look at some of the stuff that's important to me and might be important to you when it comes to these devices. So I've opened up the cases for you. Let's move that. Oh, that sounded bad. So again, both of them come with these pretty awesome cases which double as chargers. You can put everything in here and charge up the case, and that will charge up your receivers and your transmitters. When you open up the cases, you'll see you have the receivers for both and the transmitters for both. And as soon as you open it, the devices will connect. And I'll tell you how much battery you have. They're both sets fully charged. They both come with 2 receivers, 2 transmitters. Now you can also get like a single transmitter. You can get a single receiver. No, you can get a single transmitter. You can get a transmitter plus a receiver. There are different sets that you can buy that are less expensive. I bought the whole thing. I bought the whole charging case, both transmitters plus a receiver. But you can, for lower price, buy just a transmitter or transmitter and a receiver or what have you. And that's especially handy now that the DJI Mic 3 will let you connect up to 4 devices per transmitter. So both also come with these cases. Let's move these. This is the case that the DJI Mic 3 comes with. This is the case that the DJI Mic 2 comes with. Let's close those for a second, get a better shot here. So this is the DJI Mic 2 case. This is the DJI Mic 3 case. Okay, so here's where one of the big differences comes in. As we showed you earlier, the DJI Mic 2 is already bigger than the DJI Mic 3. It is a hair smaller, just a hair smaller, but when you are packing up a bag and you're traveling, you want to maximize the amount of space that you have and minimize your footprint. So you can stick more stuff in the case. Here's one of the big differences everybody's talking about. This is the DJI Mic 2 case, all right? When you open it up, you have this much space. This is all you can fit in there. You can probably put the wind socks on. I think you can put the wind socks on, or the people call them dead cats. I hate calling that because I have cats. And then close this, all right? That's what fits in there. But if you want to bring 8 millimeter or 8 millimeter, 1/8 millimeter cable to plug into your DSLR or mirrorless camera, you got to put it in this case. If you want to bring the dead cats with you, you got to put it in this case. If you want to bring any other accessories, you have to bring it in this case. So now, this is the size of the thing that you got to fit in your bag, okay? Now, this is the case that you get with the DJI Mic 3. But here's the thing. When you open up the DJI Mic 3, yeah, you have the transmitters and the receivers, but they built in a spot for the mirrorless camera connector, the 1/8 millimeter cable, and they built in a spot. Oh, wow, I forgot. They built in a spot for the magnets that you use to connect to the transmitters to wear on your body. So while you could bring this case with you, you don't need to. I don't think what did I even put in this case? Did I put anything in this case? Oh yeah, the dead cat, which you can actually fit into this other case. You can take these out. Let's do it. Let's do it right now, as a matter of fact. Let's put these. These are very strong magnets, by the way, which is another reason I really like the DJI system. The magnets, there's the cable. Let's take the, with the DJI Mic 3, you get 4 wind socks. You get 2 black ones and 2 gray ones. These, I believe, are for the gray ones are for more windy conditions. Let's see if I can fit all 4 of them in there. Okay, it's a little tight. Don't want to do that. Definitely fit 2, for sure, without a problem. So now, I don't need this at all. I don't need the case that this is coming with at all. So now, the footprint becomes this. This is the DJI Mic 2 with all the accessories that I would normally need, being the cable for my DSLR, the windscreens, a USB cable, versus this, the DJI Mic 3. All the stuff that's in this is now in this. And this is a way smaller footprint for my camera bag or my go bag, or hell, throwing it in my guitar case. You know what? As a matter of fact, let's do that right now. Where's my guitar case? Just had. Breaking stuff in the studio. So this is my gig bag. This is the gig bag that I take my acoustic guitar when I'm doing shows. This is the DJI Mic 3. All the gear I just showed you. The receiver, the transmitter, the cables, all that. Pop it right in there. Perfect. There's no, there we go. Perfect. Super small footprint. Let's try sticking the DJI Mic 2 case in here. Does it fit? Yeah. Is that significantly wider? Yeah, so much so that it's pushing out stuff that's in the other bag or in the other pocket. So that's a comparison right there. This versus this. So size-wise, huge difference. One of the reasons I bought this, one of the reasons I might not keep the DJI Mic 2. Perfect, right there. Now let's talk about what the DJI Mic 2 has that the DJI Mic 3 does not. And it's one of the reasons I might actually keep the DJI Mic 2. So, as you saw, let's switch back to that angle. The DJI Mic 2 transmitter is significantly bigger than the DJI Mic 3. That's 16 grams for this DJI Mic 3, as opposed to 28 grams for the DJI Mic 2. How and why did they get it smaller? Well, on the DJI Mic 3, you have no inputs. There are no inputs. You have the mic right there. You have a couple of buttons. You have the charging connectors. But on the DJI Mic 2, you've got the USB port right there to transfer files that you save on here. But you also have a connector to connect your lav. So you've got a 0.8 millimeter connector to connect your lav. Why is this important? Sometimes you need a lav. Sometimes you want to use a lav. That's one of the reasons I bought the DJI Mic 2 in the first place. However, because the DJI Mic 3 is so small, do you even need the lav at all? Because one of the reasons I got the lav was because this, the DJI Mic 2, is so big, it weighs down my shirt. So I had to get a lav, which was like $45, and then put this in my pocket, and then run the lav up to my mic, or to my lapel. Is that good or is that bad? I don't know, because sometimes you want a lav and sometimes you don't, which is why I'm wearing this shirt today. This is the shirt I wear on stage, and this is how I would use these mics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip these onto my shirt, and I'll show you what the difference is. So most people, they'll just put it out front like that, right? I don't want to do that. I'm on stage. I don't want people to see the DJI logo. So usually I do it like that. You can see how it's weighing down the shirt. With the DJI Mic 3, I can clip it and it's not really weighing down the shirt. But also, here's the cool thing that they did with the DJI Mic 3 with the, you can take off the clip. You can't do that with the DJI Mic 2. The clip is on there. It's just on there. And again, you can't move the clip. When you clip it on your shirt, or the talent shirt, if you're the producer, the microphone is now pointing this direction. You can't do this. You can't point it up unless you use the magnet and connect it like that. Of course, this would be, for me, I'd be on stage, so I'm going to put it on the inside of my shirt, connect it like that. It's bulky. It's like, it looks like I have a tumor on my chest. Which is why I bought a lav and I connect it, but now I'm running a lav up to my shirt. So let's check out the DJI Mic 3. Again, you can turn and readjust where you want the clip to go on your shirt. So here's the microphone portion. You know, clip it on there. It's magnetic. So let's say I'm wearing this shirt. I don't want the microphone turned in that direction, so I just change it. Boom. But now the mic is pulling my shirt. So I'm going to do like I do at a comedy club. I'm going to connect this to the inside of my shirt. Where's the microphone portion? There's the microphone portion. Boom. There's no bulk. You can't really tell. It feels better. Now I don't need that lav. I don't need to run a lav. And that was a pain in the ass. Setting up for comedy sets. I'm like running a lav down my shirt. Just connect it. Boom. Just like that. So that is, the biggest difference for me, other than the size of the actual transmitter, how quickly and easily the Mic 3 just connects to your clothing, So let's do this experiment that I was talking about. Let's connect these to my shirt the way I do at a comedy club. And we're going to do an audio test. We're going to record internally onto both. And like I said before, you have noise canceling on both of these. Let's see. I'm going to actually turn noise canceling off on both of them, just so you can hear. All right, we're going to connect these like I would do at a comedy club. I'll put the DJI Mic 2 on the left side of my shirt. I'm going to put the DJI Mic 3 on the right side of my shirt. They're just about where I have them while I'm at a comedy club. So I'm going to hit record on both of these. Recording on the Mic 2. Let's hit record. Where's the bloody? Oh, there it is. There's the button. Hit recording on Mic 3. So this is a sound check. DJI Mic 2, this is what it sounds like with no processing or noise cancellation on the DJI Mic 2. This is what it sounds like on the DJI Mic 3. No noise cancellation and no EQ. When I pull these files, I'm going to just pull the file, no sweetening at all, and let you hear what it sounds like without any kind of processing, just straight through the microphones. And you'll hear the difference between the DJI Mic 2, which is on this side of my shirt, the DJI Mic 3, which is on this side of my shirt. They're about equal distance from my mouth. The source of the audio, we'll see what that sounds like. And just for giggles, let's turn on noise canceling on both of these. So again, on the DJI Mic 3, you've got 2 levels of active noise canceling with adaptive gain control, and you have intelligent noise cancellation on the DJI Mic 2. So I believe to turn that noise canceling on, I hit that button, or I hit that button. There we go. We hit that button and the light is blinking Wait. There we go. Noise canceling is on. Oh my God, this is a lot. Double click over here. Noise canceling is on. Okay, so I've just turned noise canceling on both microphones. The DJI Mic 2 right now, noise canceling is on. DJI Mic 3 is what you're hearing right now. Noise canceling is on there as well. But I'm in a studio environment, not a lot of noise going on around me, but you can tell, maybe, I haven't listened to it, you can tell maybe what the difference is between what they both sound like. So let me turn those off. So those are the big differences in these microphones. Those are big, important reasons that I bought these microphones. The size, the portability, the footprint of, the cases, what it's going to sound like, the ease of setting them up at a gig, because I'm running around trying to figure out what jokes I'm going to do. I am, making sure the comic before me doesn't just totally bomb, and then I got to bring the audience back. So I've got all this other stuff happening in my head, and the less I got to worry about tech-wise. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's one thing you got to know. These magnets are very strong. The magnets on the DJI Mic 3 are very, very strong. So you have to be very careful putting them in the case. Anyway, so that's it. The DJI Mic 2 and the DJI Mic 3. It's what I wanted to talk about this week. I wanted to show you the differences that are important to me when it comes to these devices. Will I keep the DJI Mic 2 in addition to the DJI Mic 3? I don't know. There is something I wanted to show you. We talked about how we could use these to record music. So this is what I was doing with the DJI Mic 2, and it's the same thing for the DJI Mic 3, so I'm not going to show that. But so this is my Close Guitars Carbon Fiber Grand Cutaway Mini. Oh my goodness, I said it right for the first time since I've owned this thing. When I'm recording comedy shows, like I'm recording my own sets, like I'm an audiophile. I want to make sure it sounds good, it sounds right. So what I started doing was, because this is magnetic, I took one of the magnets, and I don't know if you can see it, and I actually just double-sided taped it to this guitar, which on a normal finished guitar, I wouldn't suggest that. Take some painter's tape and tape it across and then remove it after. But this is carbon fiber, and I'm not ever getting rid of this guitar. So I was like, all right, I'll stick it on there. And then I just take the mic transmitter, clip it right there, and then I get the audio into the mic separately if I want, or right into whatever device I am recording it onto. And I think the footprint, of course, will be smaller with the Mic 3, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, I enjoyed that. That was fun. That was me, like I said in the earlier portion of the podcast, that's the part of this show that I really like. So if you found that helpful, I don't have an affiliate link for Amazon or anything, but they're available for sale. I like the Mic 3 more than the Mic 2 for all the reasons I described. I like the Mic 2 more than the Mic 3, really only for the reason that you can connect a lavalier mic to it. And that's it. That's the only thing I find the Mic 2 has over the Mic 3. That's it. If you have the Mic 2 already and you're happy with it, should you upgrade? I don't have to. But if portability, size, range are more important to you, sure. The extra $60, sure. You could always sell the Mic 2, which I'm probably gonna do. Now, I think I'm talking myself into selling the Mic 2, but yeah, I like the DJI Mic 3. I know this video wasn't as comprehensive and put together as most of the review videos out there. This is also the first time I'm doing something like this on this show, but I wanted to do something different with the podcast that might be helpful to people, and that would justify to the IRS why I'm constantly buying new microphones for my company. But that's it for this episode of Comedy on 11. It was a lot. We were kind of all over the place. If you like the review on the DJI mics, use the information I gave you. Purchase them if you want. I got no skin in the game. Nobody's paying me for this. I paid for both of these microphones myself. I don't have an Amazon affiliate link. I do, but I forgot the password, so I don't know how to do any of the things. I'll put links up on the page just so if you're interested, you can go buy them. But yeah, I got no skin in this game. If you like the show, thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends, listen to the podcast on your favorite podcast player. Leave a 5-star review. That's helpful. I'll be back next week with more gear review. Maybe I'll be a little more put together next week instead of deciding the day before what I wanted to do. Maybe I'll spend the rest of the week actually writing the script in advance and figuring out what piece of gear I want to talk about next. But that was Spilling the Tea, T-E-E, Tom's essential entertainment equipment, stuff that I bring with me to gigs all the time. If you like the show, thanks for watching. Follow me online at _Thom Tran, THOMTRAN. This show is at Comedy on 11 Pod. And remember to turn the laughs up to 11.